Hey guys, welcome back to Games of War. Now before you adjust your monitors or check your cell phone settings, your tablet, this isn't a glitch in the Matrix. Games of War is back. Holy shit. Not due to sheer laziness, my time away, as usual. I actually had an issue with my computer. It's taken forever to get fixed. It's back up and running now, so we're back in business. Now much has changed since I last talked to you guys. 2017, which means a new room tour is coming. The channel also crossed 5,000 subscribers, which I really cannot thank you guys enough. And there'll be a proper 5K celebration video coming up soon. I've got a lot of cool stuff planned for that, so look forward to that soon. But I can't get ahead of myself. I've got to tie up some loose ends before we move any further into the future of the channel, and that is a Vita Buyer's Guide Part 2, followed by the 3DS Part 2. I want to thank you guys for the overwhelmingly positive response the first Buyer's Guide has gotten. I can't tell you how many messages I've received, people hitting me up saying that the video was amazing, that video helped them get a Vita, it pushed them to get a Vita, they had no idea there were that many games. And yes, there are still people out there that feel that the Vita has no games. Alright guys, enough with all that jazz. On to the Vita Buyer's Guide Part 2, the ultimate Vita Buyer's Guide Part 2. And somebody asked me in Part 1 of the comments section recently, you know, hey, what makes this so ultimate? I'll fucking tell you what makes it so ultimate. I've been with the Vita since day one. I've paid close attention to all games released across all genres. I know my shit, I do my research, I play and finish all of my games, and if I haven't finished it yet, I will finish it soon. So that's what makes me an authority. I don't need to read from Wikipedia. I don't need to have a script. It comes from the head, it comes from the heart, so that's why I can call this the ultimate buyer's guide and get away with it. Thanks for watching. So I want to begin this buyer's guide by talking about a company that is doing some amazing things on the Vita and PS4 for that matter. Limited run games. And what these are, physical only games on PSN that have been given new life and given a full physical release. As the name implies, limited run, these are limited and they sell out fast. In limited run games chooses very wisely when bringing titles such as One Way Heroics, Lone Survivor, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath HD, Dragon Fantasy. They make great selections. It is beautiful, full-colored inserts. Some have manuals, maps, little extras. They all come with backer cards and stickers. So if you haven't been paying attention to this company or checking out these physical releases, definitely give them a look. The Vita versions tend to sell out faster than the PS4 versions, so definitely set your alarms. They go on sale early. Follow them on Twitter. Keep up to date. As soon as the 10 o'clock in the morning batch sells out, they do another small run at 6 o'clock later on that day. This is all Eastern time for the States here. So definitely check them out. They sell quick and they are amazing to have physical copies of previously digital only games. I absolutely love the work they're doing. Definitely check out Limited Run Games and the work they're doing. So the Vita Buyer's Guide Part 1 I released in early September. And shortly after that, Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness was released. Now this is an anime that's been running for a while now. The first season was critically acclaimed, and the second season was kind of a love it or hate it type thing. We got a game on the Vita here, and this is the form of like a visual novel, graphic adventure. I absolutely love Psycho Pass. I watched the first season. I fell in love with the characters, the concept. If you've seen the movie Minority Report, it's kind of similar to that, to where you're kind of like a task force of police that fight crime, but they fight crime in terms of the potential for someone to be a criminal. So it could be stuff that hasn't happened yet, but the likely or the ability to commit murder in the future. Every choice determines fate. There's multiple choices in this. The story is riveting. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I absolutely love these kind of games. So if you're a fan of point and click visual novel games and you like a good kind of murder mystery cop tale where you're investigating crimes and investigating potential crimes or potential criminals, definitely do not let Psycho Pass pass you by. This is an amazing limited edition. It comes with some really cool contents. I fell in love with the characters in this, and it's awesome to be able to continue the anime on the Vita, on the go, and play a very quality game. Fans of point and click novels, don't pass this one by. Also in the Buyer's Guide Part 1, I kind of went on and gushed about a game that I really enjoyed, and that was Trillion. I enjoyed the game so much, I kind of went scouting for the limited edition, I found one for a great price. So Trillion, if you want to know my thoughts on this, check out the part 1. This is an amazing game. I really loved the voice acting. The story was really good. I really enjoyed the characters. And I did some investigation and I found out that Meikyu, Labyrinth of Death, was kind of the game before it in the series chronologically. And once again, a dungeon crawler on the Vita, which by large is, makes up quite a bit of the RPG library in the Vita, dungeon crawlers. And I've kind of gotten a newfound appreciation for them, and especially when they're done like Meikyu, where such a strong emphasis is placed on storytelling, characters, cutscenes, quality voice acting. The story setup in this is pretty interesting as well. So Meikyu is set in a world where the stars and world has stopped rotating, which is then in turn shrouding this world in darkness. You play as a character named Extella, and you kind of team up and meet with these 4 different guardians. And the battle system is really cool, incorporating these guardians with different abilities. And it's a dungeon crawler through and through, so if you played a first-person dungeon crawler, you know what to expect. However, if you enjoy Trillion and its brand of storytelling, spot-on voice acting, and really good localization, a great script, lots of humor, and really just enjoyable characters, then definitely check out Meikyu. It's things like that that really take the dungeon crawler first-person experience up a notch in my opinion. If I connect with the characters or I enjoy the script and the voice acting, it's going to be more to me than just going through a dungeon in first person, which is a genre I typically don't care for. Not that I don't care for it, I prefer a standard RPG, big world to explore, but the more I play with these on the Vita, with such strong writing and good characters, I fall in love more and more. So definitely check out Trillion and Meikyu, set in the same universe, and this is another great limited edition that I got from Iffy's store online, so check it out. It was on sale, it's not too expensive, definitely give it a look. Next up we have the amazing Valkyrie Drive, and if you have played any of the Senran and Kagura games, they're basically like arena brawlers like Dynasty Warriors, 99 Nights, games like that, Hyrule Warriors. The hook of these games, very much like Senran and Kagura, is that you are playing with a team of ninja women that are scantily clad, and they have got giant boobs. No way around it. That's what it is. But more so than just like bouncing boobs and like clothes getting torn off, is the rock solid gameplay that makes this game up. The battle system truly is something special. It's a lot of fun, busting out these combos and the juggles and the boosting in air, and just the way you can lay carnage to these enemies and feel in complete control while juggling and slashing and hacking. And the cool thing about Valkyrie Drive is that you have a second partner that actually transforms into your weapon, and you can lay some carnage done in style. Now, it may seem like overly perverted to some people, however, I justify it in my mind by saying the gameplay is great, which it is, but also it's really nice to look at hot anime chicks, man. I'm not gonna lie. Got no shame. I love this game. I love the special edition. It comes with a lot of cool extra contents, and I'm all for hack and slash games. They definitely have a place in 2017. And the Senran and Kagura, and now Valkyrie Drive, which I think that Valkyrie Drive has made some improvements to the battle system. The combat is lightning quick, spot on, and just a hell of a lot of fun to play, mixed with a story that's actually pretty good. It's all in Japanese, but there's subtitles, so I actually found myself reading the story and quite enjoying it and liking the characters. So fans of hack and slash games and brawlers, definitely check out Valkyrie Drive. Another amazing limited edition on the Vita. This is Root Letter, and I've got to say, every once in a while a game comes along that you play not having any expectations, just knowing that you like the genre, which in the case of Root Letter, it is the visual novel, mystery, adventure, graphic adventure. And I wasn't really expecting to be blown away like I was, but I gotta say that Root Letter was one of my favorite games of 2016. I popped this in and just was gonna try it out and see what it was all about, and I just never took it out. This game hooked me from the start, and I guess I'd have to say it's the story, setting, and characters. In this game you play as a mid-30s guy who is cleaning out his office, and you stumble across some letters that you used to write back and forth with a pen pal in high school. And at the time in high school you were going through kind of a dark time, and these letters, communicating with this girl in a different school really helped you get through a dark time. You're reading through these letters and kind of reminiscing about old times, but then you find a letter that was written to you with no postmark on it, and it's one that you never read from back then. And what it says inside this letter just gets your character, you know, he has to go find her, try to find her. The letter says, and it's not a spoiler, she says, this will be my last letter. I have to atone for my sins or something. I've committed murder, something along those lines. And, you know, this is a sweet high school girl that you've been talking back and forth with. You know, all of a sudden you find this letter that has no postmark on it. You never received it back then, just appear in your drawer, and it says something ghastly like that. So you travel to this girl's hometown, and when you get there, you find that this story goes much, much deeper. Now, in these letters that you wrote with this girl had like, I think 8 different best friends, and they all hung out together. And in these letters, she talks to you about each of her best friends, and they each have a nickname. And going around and, you know, finding these old friends and going to try to talk to them, you bring up the girl's name that you were pen paling with, and they want nothing to do with it. They don't want to talk about it. They just want nothing to do with it, and for good reason. And I'm not going to say any more, but fans of a good story, a good mystery, this game, Root Letter, pulled me in like no other. I finished it rather quickly. I still want to go back and get the different endings because there's multiple endings, but man, an amazing game. If you have any interest in graphic novels, mysteries, do yourself a favor and please play Root Letter. You can thank me later because this game is amazing. And I have a special connection to this limited edition because in the game, when you're writing the letters, or actually when you're receiving the letters from your pen pal, they were all on different stationery, and all of the different stationery that the girl used in the game to send to you, it comes in this limited edition. And it's just so cool to be able to own the stationery because it was such a big part of the game. And I'm going to stop there, but definitely check out Root Letter. What an amazing game. While we're on the visual novel train, let's go ahead and mention Steins Gate Zero. Once again, another anime into a game, Steins Gate. I played the original and I absolutely loved it. I loved the story. I loved the science fiction theme to it. I loved the time travel aspect of it. The characters were very well written. The atmosphere was really palpable. The characters, the art style has such a distinct look to it that it just completely hooked me in. The scientist, you know, it's with the microwave and time travel and a banana. I'm not going to say any more, but Steins Gate Zero, I just recently picked this up. This is the limited edition, the Amethyst edition, and I am very much looking forward to continuing the science fiction themed story in Steins Gate because it was expertly written. I just praise the people that write stories that are in these kind of games because when they're this well done, like in the original Steins Gate with time travel and the story that unfolds, and you know, this scientist basically discovering something major by accident. A mystery awaits, but I can already recommend Steins Gate Zero just based on the fact that the first one was so good. And from what I've read online, this one does not disappoint either. So definitely, if you haven't played Steins Gate, the original, check it out. Watch the anime and then finish it, love it, and then play the Steins Gate Zero. Very much looking forward to this. Another Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors-ish kind of game, the crowd-based brawler. We've got Fate Extella. And this might be kind of difficult for some of you to get into story-wise because this is based on the continuation and story from a near 6-7-year-old PSP game. Fate on the PSP was a dungeon crawler I played way, way, way back then. And my tolerance for dungeon crawlers back then really wasn't what it is today. I really didn't like them back then at all. And I remember picking up Fate, and I liked the characters and setting, but the gameplay just didn't hook me back then. I wasn't in the right frame of mind, and sadly I never did finish it. But I remember the game, and I remember some of the characters and story, and this is still fully playable without previous knowledge. The battle system in this is lightning quick. The graphics look great on the Vita. And there's a lot of story in this, and I've played through 2 scenarios, and there's different characters with different scenarios, and the servants return from Fate, so you're going to see some old characters, so I did recognize a few, and this is just a very well done game. Besides being one of the most beautiful limited editions that I've seen yet on the Vita, the box is stunning, the artwork is just impeccable. I'm really liking this game a lot, and I'm such a sucker for crowd-based brawlers. 99 Nights is always my favorite on the 360, 1 and 2. But you know, this is a great game on the Vita. Some great extras in here. a really well done story, which is something you don't often associate with the crowd-based brawler. But you could tell it's almost like a visual novel mixed with the crowd-based game. There's a couple of light decisions to make, and not that it really affects the story in a way, but there's decisions are there, and there are quite lengthy written story segments. So just slow down, kick your feet up, relax after a long day, and listen to the story. Read everything, man. You're gonna really enjoy it. I promise you. The scenarios are very well written, characters are likable, and then you can go and use this character and just kick ass and just annihilate screens full of enemies. So I definitely recommend Fate Extella. And if you do like the characters or fall in love with one of them, go back and check out the old PSP game. I don't think it's too expensive, and it's made me want to go back. I'm gonna go back and pick it up because I definitely want to give it a playthrough. I almost want to stop playing this game, go back and finish Fate, and then come back and play it again to really get the most out of it. But crowd-based brawling fans, check out Fate Extella. And then behind me, you can see right here, this is the Galgun limited edition. And I gotta say, I will pull the box out for a size comparison and show you guys. This box is massive, and it's kind of a lot of dead space inside there. But the game itself it's going to be a definite love it or hate it type experience. It's a light gun game, so think House of the Dead or Virtua Cop. But swap out the undead and criminals with horny schoolgirls that are just after you. They've been hit by Cupid and they are looking for love, and like it's pheromones and like attraction, and you've got to like shoot these women to keep them from smothering you. And I don't know, the mechanics aren't the best. It's definitely some wacky shit, but I'm a fucking wacky guy, man, so of course I love it. The limited edition comes with a pair of panties for a screen cleaner, which is fucking brilliant. A really nice wall scroll. I mean, I've talked about it before, but I mean, the Vita is such a collector's system, man. There are so many amazing limited editions and collector's editions coming out that I've really got to be careful and stick to my rule. Only buy what I'm interested in. I can't just buy a game because of the limited edition packaging, because it's going to sit there, and that's not how I roll. I play my shit. So I really got to be careful when buying the games. But Galgun, I'm a sucker for light gun shooters, and the premise was something that I had never ever experienced, and I probably won't ever play something like it again. So for what it is, it's a really cool and enjoyable game. Very quirky. The mechanics are solid enough, and I do enjoy it. Moving back into more traditional territory, from the amazing way forward, we have the newest game in the Shantae series. This is Shantae Half Genie Hero. And I gotta say, man, this is how a 2D game should look in 2016 and 17. This game absolutely pops to life on the Vita screen. It looks amazing. The animation is so damn fluid, and just watching this game in motion, watching Shantae run across the screen and seeing these giant screen-filling bosses and the colorfulness and the crisp animation. I mean, nobody does 2D animation like WayForward, and this game has that on full display. And if you've never played a Shantae game, they are kind of like Metroidvania games, and they also mix like a genie motif. She's a genie, obviously, and this brings back the transformations of one of the earlier games. But there's a few entries in this series. As a matter of fact, Limited Run Games just brought a few out on PS4. They sold out quick. And Shantae has definitely got a huge fan base. The original Game Boy Color game is freaking expensive as shit. So it's definitely got its fan base, but if you're a fan of 2D platforming, then this is a no-brainer. Shantae's character is really cool. She's down to earth. She's super nice. She's a protector of the land, and there's always hijinks going on in this world. Risky boots and a strong supporting cast of characters. Colorful dialogue is great. Sequinland is an amazing place to visit, and it's impossible not to like a Shantae game. It's just, you put it in, and it takes you back to simpler times when you could just pop in a game and just enjoy it. Gameplay, platforming, mechanics are just immaculate, spot on. The transformations are cool, allowing you to access different areas. You guys know the drills. 2D side-scrollers definitely still have a place in gaming, and Shantae is at the top of the pack. I've always loved the games, and this new one does not disappoint. Just an amazing 2D side-scroller. Next up is Exist Archive, and man, I was looking forward to this game ever since I saw it announced. a kind of spiritual successor, or at least a new game from the Valkyrie Profile developers, and that's one of my favorite games from the PlayStation RPGs. And this is very similar. It's got that same 2D plane, but it's almost like a platformer, an RPG, because a lot of it is exploring the map and double jumping and getting new abilities. And the platforming, granted, it's floaty as hell, and it's not like ideal, but it works. The graphics are very good looking on the Vita. The story is very dark, and the initial setup is really, it intrigued me right away. I've got to finish this game, about halfway through right now. But like, these 12 students were killed, and then they all appeared in this different land, and this, I guess this like demon is attempting to be resurrected, and like the pieces of his soul have all transferred into these different 12 students that all died. So you're traveling through this land and trying to meet these kids and free their souls. And I really enjoy the battle system because it's a throwback to Valkyrie Profile, where each character is assigned a different face button, and you're able to kind of string attacks and combos together, each character having different amount of turns based on what's equipped. Tons of stuff available to equip and change the stats of. Just a really solid game. Motai Sakuraba, returns for the soundtrack. So, I mean, this guy is amazing when it comes to RPG soundtracks. He does the Tales games and a lot of other games, and he does not disappoint here. The soundtrack is fantastic. I've seen some people hating on this game online, and I'm not sure why, you know? I mean, of course it's not Valkyrie Profile, it's not Valkyrie Profile 2, but it's the same passion poured into a project from the original team members. And I absolutely love this game. Sure, there's a few nitpicks, like the world map you spend way too much goddamn time on. You're going to be there way too often. But, you know, as far as the atmosphere, the gameplay, the storyline, the music, it all comes together. And it's a nice new RPG. It's not a dungeon crawler. So thank you. Thank you. I do love dungeon crawlers. I've gained respect for them just with this generation alone. Etrian Odyssey. The list of dungeon crawlers goes on and on, especially on Vita. 3DS as well, tons of dungeon crawlers, so it's nice to see something fresh. So Exist Archive, if you like Valkyrie Profile, definitely give it a chance. World of Final Fantasy. This is the Vita version. It's also available on PS4. Make sure you download the English voice acting track. I started playing this game, and the characters were talking and making movements and moving their hands, and there was nothing coming out of their mouth, and I was like, oh shit, do I have a glitched copy? What the hell is wrong? You've got to go onto the PSN and download the English voice dub and problem solved. But, you know, World of Final Fantasy is a love letter to fans of Final Fantasy. Available in chibi style or regular style, switching on the fly, summoning legendary helpers from the different Final Fantasy games of yore. I absolutely fell in love with this game. It is, just as I said, a love letter to fans of the series, and it's so cool and so charming to go back and play as these little chibi versions of characters you love. Definitely check this out if you've been a fan of Final Fantasy over the years. And if you're a newcomer to the series, you know, you just might fall in love with this, and this might be enough encouragement to go back and check out past entries. I've loved Final Fantasy since I got into it late, I'll admit, but ever since I have been going back kind of like an opposite order. 13 and 13-2 and Lightning Returns were like the first Final Fantasy games that I completed from start to finish. And before you jump all over my shit, I was a Sega guy back then, man. I was playing Panzer Dragoon Saga when everybody was raving over Final Fantasy VII. While that game was changing the world, I was playing Shining Force, Panzer Dragoon Saga, all the Working Designs games. So you can't fault me. At least if I wasn't playing Final Fantasy, at least I was playing something, in my opinion, as impactful, as meaningful. So World of Final Fantasy, love letter to fans. Systems are strong, excellent battle system, very detailed, great graphics, a pretty stunning game on the Vita for sure. For a system that doesn't have any games or isn't selling, it sure does manage to get a lot of, you know, if it's going to be on the PS4 and it's an RPG, chances are it's going to be on the Vita. So thank you, Square Enix. Fuck you, Sony. Stranger of Sword City. Yes, folks, another dungeon crawler. But with a setting as cool as this, I could not pass it up. I actually was going to buy the limited edition, and there was like a problem with my card, and I'm not sure what the hell happened. And then I just forgot about it, and I never went back and made the order right, so I ended up settling for picking this up on sale just recently, but Lord knows I don't need another dungeon crawler, but the premise, storyline, and graphical style in this looks so intriguing that I'm going to give it a try. It was on sale for like, I think $14.99. I think it might have been even $10. But I haven't gotten into this one yet. But from what I've read and the pedigree of developer, I believe these guys did Demon Gaze. So I already know I'm going to like it. And it will reaffirm my faith that take it or leave it, love it or hate it, dungeon crawlers are here to stay. So I've either got to jump on board or get the frick out, man. Next up, we've got Yomawari Night Alone, and I've got to say, this title completely blew me away. Now let's talk about this edition right here, because this is very interesting. The only way to get the physical version of this is in this limited edition, which comes bundled with the Firefly Diary, the HTOL #NIQ. Yeah, so I talked about the Firefly Diaries in the previous video, part 1 of the buyer's guide, and it was basically kind of like a ghost trick-ish kind of game on the DS, where you are able to kind of move a wisp around a screen and activate items and solve puzzles to kind of maneuver your character through the screens. A really cool game, bite-sized adventure that was very enjoyable. Definitely have to use your brain to navigate and animate objects to make your way through the environments. Definitely something different. But Yomawari, holy shit, man. You look at this game, and you know, it's an isometric top-down survival horror game, so it is very deceptive. At first glance, you might think, oh man, this isn't going to be scary, how, you know, this and that, but I'll tell you what, this is an emotional, physically draining game. First of all, please heed my recommendation. If you're going to play it, turn the lights off, put in some headphones. You will be immersed in this game like no other, and there are scares. This game will make you jump. Starts off with a shocking intro where you're walking a dog and this car comes by and plows into bloodstain on the road, and you run home and your sister agrees to go out looking for the dog, and then she's like gone for too long, so you go out and search. And then, man, exploring this town and the puzzle solving, atmosphere, graphics, this is a top-notch game that completely blew me away. You'll finish it in about 3-ish hours or so. But this is one hell of a roller coaster ride. Trust me and take my word for it. Do not miss Yomawari. If you're a horror game fan, if you like suspenseful games, if you like scary games, horror games, or just games that convey emotion, this is an emotional game that will get you invested in the characters. And through minimal graphics, it tells such a tale that I was completely blown away. Do not miss this game, especially horror fans. This is reason to own a Vita right here. I absolutely loved the game. I cannot sing it enough praises. Definitely check it out. Rounding things out, we have Criminal Girls 2, and I think I actually made a mistake. I talked about the first game in part 1. I don't think part 2 is out yet at that point, but I kind of showed footage from the second game, which was a mistake on my part. But Criminal Girls 2 is here. I haven't had a chance to finish this game yet, but from what I've played, it is very much like the first one, playing as girls that have been condemned to hell and trying to escape their way out. Very risque. The bondage and the motivation scenes are there. Toned down once again from the Japanese release. So definitely, if you're into dungeon crawlers and you are into quirky Japanese dungeon crawlers, but not first person here, we've got a top-down 2D game. So I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm really looking forward to finishing this one. And who knows, maybe I'll do a review or a follow-up on this game, because I think the series, you know, maybe a series review, because I think this is a series that I need to talk about more, because I definitely find the concept very interesting, and I really do like the characters in the first game, and I'm hoping that the second game, from what I've read, is an improvement. And I just dug the game. I thought it was really cool. I love the concept of being in hell and trying to escape, and every girl having kind of a dark history, a dark past, and secrets. I thought it all came together very well and told a tale that isn't the commonplace in these kind of games. So Criminal Girls 2, definitely check it out. Play the first one, love it. Play the second one, love that one. This came in a huge limited edition, a party bag favors edition with all kinds of extras. Once again, proving that the Vita is the machine for the quirky limited editions and limited editions in general. And it doesn't stop there. There is so many games coming out for the Vita. I'm looking forward to A Rose in the Twilight. I'm looking forward to God Wars. I'm looking forward to so many games coming out on the Vita in the future that, even though Sony may not support it anymore, and I seriously doubt that they will make another handheld, And with the Switch coming, it could be the end of the 3DS. It could be the end of dedicated handheld machines as we know them. And that will be a sad, sad day for handheld gamers. But on a positive note, we can always go back and enjoy the immense library of the Vita, the immense library of the 3DS, the DS for that matter. Still got an amazing library, the PSP. So there's definitely no shortage of games to play for handheld gamers. And I'll miss handheld gaming if this is the last bastion of it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the Vita Buyer's Guide Part 2. Not quite as many games as in the first one. I had a lot to cover in the first one, and I probably could have divided it up better amongst the two videos. But I really tried to get it all squeezed into one video. But I realized that there's just a lot of games that were coming out like in the near future, and I didn't want to put off the episode any longer. Not to ramble on any longer or take up any more of your time, but I want to say, guys, it's good to be back, man. I promise you, and I've said it in the past, no more breaks like that. I really want to take GamezOfWar to the next level. 5K was always the amount, that was always the original goal when I started my channel. I said, you know what, if I can make it to 5K, then I really will have made it, for me. I don't want to be a huge channel. I don't talk about mainstream stuff all that much, although I do love current gen gaming, as I've got a PS4 buyer's guide in the works, because there are so many amazing niche titles that are coming to PS4 in physical form that I never saw coming. So many good games. So that is in the future. GamezOfWar, I'm really going to take this to the next level. I've got t-shirts coming with the GamezOfWar logo. So let me know if you guys are interested in those. 5K celebration coming up soon. Thank you all for helping me get there. I promise you, I will take this channel to the next level. I've heard your cries. I've gotten so many messages asking me where the hell I've been. When's the next video coming? And I've got to say, guys, I appreciate it. It's really got me motivated to get this thing going. I really want to do something with GamezOfWar. I think it could be something moving forward. It's passion for me. It's a release. It's an outlet. I want to thank you guys all for coming back and sticking with the channel. Thank you as always. GamezOfWar is nothing without you.